The following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
To the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with our next guest I'm very excited about because she's going to talk about this killer Jewish singles party, and I think in 2025 we probably need that more than ever, even though it's been going on for 38 years. That's amazing. So let's welcome to the show, Brittany. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing amazing. So grateful to be on the show. Thanks for having us.
Oh, my pleasure. So, first of all, it's been dubbed the #1 holiday party in the country by USA Today.
Yes.
How does that happen? I know I've always heard about it for years and years and years. I'm just wondering how you guys became the #1 holiday party. Especially it's a Jewish party. So we're usually the ones that are underneath the other holidays. So how'd that happen?
Well, it's really unique. It's one of a kind. The MATZOBALL really started when things weren't hot in the young Jewish world, for All Things Party in '87 with our founder, Andrew, who was looking for his Jewish soulmate and wife, who he later found, at the Boston MATZOBALL. But essentially what I think it's really an amalgam of awesome people, getting them all into a room. Everybody's kind of looking for someone, and there is somebody at the party for you. We've set up thousands of people throughout our 38 years and counting, and it's only getting bigger and better every year. I mean, we just added Philly, back onto the roster, and we're almost sold out there.
Wow.
So it's just incredible. The music is amazing. The people are great. The vibe is there, and everybody really has the intention of meeting someone. So that's what I think really takes it to the next level.
That's pretty cool. And what I think's really, really cool is that it's on Christmas Eve. Because, normally for a Jew, that is a very lonely, depressing night, to be honest,
Well, we're usually eating Chinese food. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's so to be able to go to something like this when everything else is pretty much closed for us except Chinese food, that's pretty cool. And go ahead.
No, I'm saying I think that also goes back to your question of what makes it so notorious. And it's while the rest of the world is celebrating one of the most sacred holidays and cherishable moments of the year with their families, we're here just trying to figure out what to do, twiddling our thumbs. And here is the party of the year that everybody is waiting for at the hottest club in the city near you. So I think that also goes back to kind of, what this is and what makes it so notorious.
Yeah. And I'm here in South Florida, so I think we have probably the best matzo ball in the whole country, but I'm just being biased.
You guys you have a really great party. Yes.
It is South Florida, and I am from the Northeast, so I'm sure New York City is much better. Okay, but since I'm here, I have to say Miami and Boca probably rival New York and Philly.
Oh, definitely. So I would say, New York is obviously one of our larger markets. Miami
Yeah.
definitely is there. There's the Jewish community is huge in New York. It's vibrant, but it's also a very different community than Miami and Boca. Everything's hotter in Miami. We get it. Super jealous. I know you guys are more tan than us. Cool. But I think the bottom line is, and listen, if you're in New York, feel free to go to Miami and go to the Matzo Ball I live, or go to Boca or wherever, LA. I mean, the match or your match that you're looking for could be there. And if not, then there's Jewish geography, and there's probably somebody that knows somebody for you. I mean, some parents that we set up, they come back and they buy their children, or like grandparents will buy grandchildren tickets because they know this is the party of the year. I mean, it's notorious. If you don't know what the matzo ball is, it's like, where have you been? And it speaks for itself in terms of where we're at. We're just like 2 weeks away, basically. And it's just unbelievable to see how many DMs we get. I get messages every single day on Instagram of people saying, I met my partner here, or I have a baby now, or it's just such a
That's
wonderful,
cool.
enlightening experience. And it makes what I do and like what we do at Matzo Ball so special. I'm just grateful, to see the stories, and it's all about the story. And that's why we keep doing what we do. There's a lot of overhead and there's a lot of stress in the making of the party. But
Oh yeah.
once it's there, it's like, wow, this was so worth it.
Right. That's the whole thing. Like when you're prepping for it, it could be kind of hell, and then when it happens, you're like, wow, that was definitely worth it. When before you were probably not thinking that way until it actually happens.
Definitely.
So what's besides Andrew's, what's your favorite story of matzo ball?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. I have had so many incredible experiences. I think the coolest part of it all is me being there for the actual event and seeing all my friends that didn't know I was doing this. Walk into the room and say, Brittany, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like kind of putting this thing together with the help of an incredible team, of course. But that's really cool to see people kind of know each other and warm up to one another. And it feels like a group of friends that are partying and just having a good time on a really amazing night of the year. I think that's my favorite part in its essence. But then of course, like I love to set up people. So it's like when you see people kind of schmoozing, you're like, oh my God, like, am I like making a little shidduch here? Like, is this happening? And it is. So it's incredible. It really is.
See, I love that too, especially now, because I think events like this for Jewzz is what we need more than ever now. We need a lot of positive. There's
Yes.
plenty of negative out there. We need a lot of positive, and I think it makes us feel more comfortable too, because we can go somewhere and be amongst our own people.
Yes. And there are others that join us on the matzo ball or at the matzo ball, and they absolutely love it. I've gotten a lot of stories of people that have joined us as well. But what I will say is we've really built a strong community of Jewish people that attend our events, and they bring their friends, sometimes the next year, or they'll come back as a couple. It's so amazing to have this foundation that we've curated, and it's been so incredible to see the aftermath of it all. Girls that go that, maybe they thought they were going to find their match in a guy, but they end up coming out with their best friend, or vice versa. A guy may come out like that. I've seen so many people like that too. I've had people run into me on the streets of Manhattan and say, hey, like, you're the girl from the matzo ball. And I'm like, yeah, like, what's up? What can I do for you? And it's like, oh, or the best ones are, hey, I saw this guy. Do you know who he is? And they'll send me a screenshot of like him in the back of a video, or like the girl or the guy will do that. And it's an incredible experience. So the bottom line is, if you're not going to the matzo ball on Christmas Eve, the 24th, you need to be there. It's the party of the year for a reason, and come with your partner, even if you are not single, but it is tailored for our Jewish singles, 21 to 49.
But I think to a point that you made, a lot of people that go there, they go there because it's a singles thing, but then they go every year because they met friends and
Right.
they have their tribe, so to speak, that are going there.
Yeah, we do. We were like creating our own little tribe, our MATZOBALL tribe. That's a good one.
Nice, right?
Let Hashem know, we got our own little thing going on down here. But I think it's just ultimately so special. And Andrew's done an incredible job just keeping up with it and really being the start of it all. I think the MATZOBALL, I don't think, I know the MATZOBALL is the pioneer of all Jewish events. And everyone knows it. Your grandparents probably know it. If you're an American and you have been here and you don't live under a rock, you know who we are. And honestly, I'm just so grateful for the opportunity for people to be in a room together, for Jewish people to be in a room together and feel like they have family.
No doubt. And then now you're paired with Jewzz, which is a new Jewish dating site. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that partnership happened, and what made you pick that dating app opposed to other Jewish dating apps?
Yeah, so we actually started building out our relationship with Jewzz, the app. The reason why we really wanted to get something tailored to exclusively Jewish, it's super important for us to be promoting, Jewish marriages and make more Jewish babies and like all that jazz. So it just felt like the right partnership. We have been promoting, like our tagline has been "Jewzz it or lose it," which has been really fun. At the MATZOBALL, I just was on the line earlier today for our amazing bracelets. We have a new shade of purple this year, so that's exciting.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, it's just an amazing experience to see people that connect at the MATZOBALL. So like if you're at the MATZOBALL, here's the thing. So like the screenshots of people that you're walking around and you're like, hey, like I saw this person, but I didn't have a chance to speak to them, or there was another person I was schmoozing with, but I saw them from the side of my eye, or whatever it is. They will be on the app. So it'll allow you to actually curate your search pretty much centric to the MATZOBALL. So if
that.
you're on the line and you're looking at somebody and they're super cute and you're like, I don't know who they are, they're probably on the app, and you'll be able to find them either after the party or a week later, whatever it is, or maybe the dates you didn't go on weren't that great, but there was somebody else at the MATZOBALL that you saw and they'll be on the app. So I think that's what's cool. The partnership really allows us to be very exclusive to our community, and to get down to those that have been, at our events. So that's kind of the story behind it all.
I love it. And so how do people check out MATZOBALL and Jewzz and find out more? Maybe there's people listening that have never heard of it, which I can't imagine, because I don't know anybody that doesn't know about MATZOBALL.
Well, maybe this is either you don't know. If you don't know about it, that's okay. I'm like done telling you that you live under a rock. Just come to the event. You're going to have the best time of your life. That's number one. Number two is, how do you find us? So you can find us at MATZOBALL Events on Instagram and other social platforms. We post everything. We do fun giveaways as well, which is super great. If you were, a little bit on a budget. I think the coolest thing is really getting in touch with your community. We just do such a good job with curating such a nice crowd to come to these events. Don't forget to download Jewzz, the app, on the Apple Store. You could also find it on other stores as well if you have Samsung. It's pretty much available to you on any phone. And we'll be partying on the 24th. Most stores open at 10. We have one city that opens at 9. We're ready to have a good time and just enjoy each other and just be Jewish.
I love it. Love it. So is there anything else you want to tell the listeners that we haven't covered already?
Guys, if you're slightly thinking about coming, don't think about it. Just act on it. This is your sign. You're going to have the best time ever. And if you're lucky enough to meet me in New York, or who knows, maybe Miami, maybe I'll come and party with you. I would love to see you and just enjoy the essence of what it is to be a Yid. Gishmak, honestly.
Amazing. It is such an amazing event. I'm so excited that it's still happening after 38 years. And I just love that you're getting bigger and bigger, and we can all just, get together and have a great time and meet people and that change our lives. So thank you for all you do to make this amazing, legendary Jewish singles party. And maybe before we go, if you could list off all the cities that people, in case
Yeah.
somebody's listening and they're like, well, I'm not in Miami, I'm not in New York. What are
Yeah,
all
no
the
problem.
cities?
Okay, so we're in 7 major cities this year. We're in New York, LA, Miami, Boca, Philly, Boston, and DC. So if you're in any of those cities, you're more than welcome to join us. We are selling our tickets extremely fast this year. We're almost sold out in pretty much every city. Surprisingly, like Philly, like you're doing great, Philly. Philly's like filling up my DMs every single day for MATZOBALL. And we can't wait to party with you guys. I can't wait to see you there. And it's going to be a balagan. We're so excited.
Well, Brittany, thank you for doing this, and there's like tireless work that you have to do, and everybody else involved to put this together. And thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'll see you guys there. Happy MATZOBALL.
Welcome to Rockville. Returns to Daytona International Speedway May 7th through 10th with Foo Fighters, My Chemical Romance, Guns N' Roses, and Bring Me the Horizon. Plus, Turnstile, Five Finger Death Punch, The Offspring, Breaking Benjamin, A Day to Remember, Godsmack, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville, May 7th through 10th. Passes on sale now for as low as $1 down at welcometorockville.com.
Hey, you're listening to The Adventure of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Yo, it's the Adventures of Pipeman here on W4CY Radio, the Positively Pipeman segment. And as the Pipeman starts his holiday tour, the Pipeman radio tour is over for 2025. But now I'm on the Pipeman holiday tour because I have 4 kids, 8 grandkids, and it's a lot of people I have to visit and go to. So actually, I have got some new technology for my superpowers where I can be 2 places at once. So I am up in the Panhandle of Florida at my daughter's house for Hanukkah, but I'm also here in the studio in Palm Beach Gardens, South Florida, doing the show. I have figured out how to do both, and I'm here doing it. And today's a great show because we will have the pet health guru come on first, and we're going to talk about, is my pet addicted? And you'll hear what that's about. And then after that, we're going to run some commercials for some festivals that we're giving away tickets for. So you can literally go to any of my socials at Pipeman Radio. Tell me you want to be entered to win. Pick the festival you want to go to. You'll see the commercials today. So far, we're doing 2 that we're doing ticket giveaways for, and you will be entered to win. And then we're going to go into the powerful business strategy segment of the show with our resident expert, Michael Barbarita, and he's going to talk about live events and webinars. And those are some of my favorite things. Obviously, I go on the Pipeman radio tour. However, right now, let's go to one of my favorite guests ever, who is the longest running guest on my show, with the longest running show next to mine on our network. So let's welcome in the pet health guru.
Hey, how you doing, Dean?
Hello, pet health guru. How are you?
That's great to be here. It's always good to talk to you on the show and try to get some information out there for our people.
Oh yeah, no doubt. No doubt. We
course,
need a lot
season,
of information for these people, to be honest.
Oh, it's crazy. It's really crazy out there, the things that are going on and all the misinformation. Every day I get a ton of text messages, email, social media. This world is nuts.
psh, are you kidding me? I say that every day. Like, talk about
And
talk about nuts. It's beyond nuts, in my opinion.
it's actually, I mean, the amount of fraudulent information that's given, out there, especially, in the medical and health industry. Of course, we find it in the food industry as well. It drives me crazy every day. I have to calm down and try to get through it. And then I look in the eyes of the people I'm talking to, and all you see is a blank stare.
Totally. And so, like, all right, I talked about, is my pet addicted? That's why I said in the beginning. Now, I am blown away of how this insanity of this world of pumping humans up with drugs has turned into, like, all these people. It really annoys me. All these people that have all these issues that they take all these meds for some reason they think their pets have all the same issues as them, like it's genetic or something. And that, like, she's not going to like it very much, but somebody I know very intimately has one of their cats on cat Prozac.
Yeah, happens all the time, and it's an issue that I deal with every week. Actually, we're going to be talking a little bit on this week's show on the Pet Health Cafe. I've got a special guest coming in, but we're going to talk about how the holistic community, now their option is, if you want natural health, is you have to go to social media because there's no doctors out there that freaking know what they're talking about.
Wow. Well, that reminds me of, like, criminal cases now. The number one piece of evidence is social media. It's insane.
It is. It really
What
is.
I'm saying is that people are stupid enough that it became the number one source, because people incriminate themselves on social media all the time. Hello, people. I don't know what's going on, what drugs you're on that big pharma's giving you, but if you put it on the internet, you're gonna get busted. Just saying.
Yeah, it's a confession, basically.
Totally. It's kind of like, too. Okay, I don't know how you feel about this, but I, you know, just because marijuana is legal in some states, and just because medical is legal, doesn't mean you should be getting on your podcast and puffing a blunt the whole time, or go on TikTok, or, like, first of all, it's still federally illegal, idiots. You can still go to jail for it. And by the way, just because you have a medical thing or whatever doesn't mean you can smoke anywhere you want, when you want, whatever. It's a private thing. Like, are you going there and popping your Xanaxes on your podcast or on your TikTok? Yeah, you probably are, and that's stupid too.
Yeah, that really is. And all the drugs are an issue anymore on our pets because it's a brand new market for the pharmaceutical companies. Because first off, the client using the substance can't complain very much. I mean, their only expression is "I fall over dead," basically. With an overdose. Everything else, I mean, it's just and when you look at the way they even prescribe, especially we mentioned in the teaser about painkillers. Take your dog cat in for routine surgery, which is no such thing anyway. It should all be emergency medicine, but they put your dog or cat on painkillers for 2 weeks with a specific amount, specific dosage, and send you out the door. There's no follow up. And then, of course, when they get down to the end of the 2 weeks, it's cold turkey.
Well, not only that, they get big money if the pills kill the animal. So why should there be follow up? Because then they get another big paycheck for whatever they got to do.
Yeah, the disposal services. Yeah, I know. It's so exasperating because there is no follow up really. There's it's just they're drug dealers.
How do you
sorry.
know how if this is helping the animals? Like the animals can't speak, okay? And how do animals survive in the wild without a pharmacy? That's what I want to know, okay?
Well, they're intuitive. I mean, dogs, cats, wild animals, they will seek out different herbs, botanicals, um, different puddles or water sources where there's some healing benefits to that, and they know exactly what to do. They're smarter than the veterinarians in that respect. They know exactly what they need, and part of the proof of that is when it comes to chemicals. Especially our dogs, they've got such sensitive nose. They can tell that there's a chemical in that pill that's not good for them. And here
Yeah.
you are playing sumo wrestler with your dog to try to get a freaking tablet or capsule down their throat. And half the time they spit up, they're not getting much benefit of it. The only one that's benefiting is the doctor that sold it.
And you're practically suffocating them to get them to swallow it.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me, okay, so you're going to laugh, but the pipe man as a baby, if he didn't like food, I would do this. And literally, my mother would not let me leave the high chair until I swallowed that food, and sometimes even hold my nose to get me to swallow it. And that's what we do to these poor animals.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly right. And and as a pet owner, there's a lot of them that just get fed up with it, trying to do it, and they don't get any medication at all. Not that the medication would necessarily help them, like I say, because there's all kinds of the plethora of real nutrition that number one would have prevented them to have this procedure done, but number two will do the healing. And it's not about a single therapy. Doctors and veterinarians look at a single modality of treatment. It's got to be either the chemicals, the radiation, or the cutting. And it's only within a small, narrow range that they even do it. When you look at how nature creates all this stuff, they're eating and drinking and cleansing themselves in 1,000 different ways. But it's like everything else in our society. I know you're doing this with your dual studio appearance, but down here in South Florida, for like just before Thanksgiving, we've had nothing but chemtrails again, even though they're banned in the state. So we're getting bombarded with chemicals. We have no idea what they are.
No.
And of course, the stress of it, the chemical contamination. That's all the things that are going to cause so-called disease symptoms. The symptoms are, they actually named the disease for the symptom, basically. IBD. Yeah, you got irritated bowel syndrome. Okay, what's the cure for it? Quit irritating the damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, I'm going to get hate for this, but I hate to tell you, people, not everybody in the whole world has ADD. Okay. And like everybody owns this ADD. If they get a little hyper, they have ADD. If they do that, like, first of all, there's nothing wrong with energy, people. Okay. You should have energy. If you don't have energy, your body is not in good health. That's number one. Number two is, it's like this thing, and now all of a sudden animals have ADD. Get the hell out of here. Okay, animals don't need Ritalin or Adderall because they have ADD. Like, come on. Okay, that is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. And the fact of the matter is how do we know it's helping them? Like maybe it's not. And you talk about pain relievers. Okay, so we already know there's some pretty bad side effects for pain relievers for humans.
Yes.
How bad is it for our pets?
I keep asking them all. I still can't get a straight answer. I just haven't figured out their language yet. But I can look at them and I can tell by their physical being. They're knocked out. They're sluggish. They're lethargic. Many cases we have secondary issues. Loose stool, vomiting, all the gastric things. That's all a big part of it. And the other thing with painkillers, and this is the worst part about it, and this is why we try to do a more natural approach. But let's say you've got a shoulder problem, or your dog has got a hip problem, and you give them a heavy duty painkiller. Well, I don't feel anything there, so I'm going to keep using it. And on people, the next thing you know, it's a stronger painkiller, and then it's like, oh, you need surgery to replace the joint because you totally ripped it up.
Yeah. How
Because
do
you
you
couldn't feel it.
know not to do something? If you can't feel it, that's the dumbest part about it to me.
Yes.
Okay. Like you're saying, you have to heal. You're not going to heal. Like, let's say you break your arm. You're not going to heal if you keep using that arm that's broken. And if you have painkillers and you don't feel the pain, you're not going to know when you're using it. Like, I want to know when I feel the pain so I know, oh, I'm not supposed to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's not only that. I mean, there's another step even beyond that, because now that you got the painkiller in there, which is basically numbing that whole area, the body doesn't know to send the right cells, the right hormones and enzymes to that area to even start the healing. So all
Yeah.
we're doing is pushing it down the road until basically the worst types of things can happen.
So we were also going to talk a little bit about artificial stuff in foods, and I have a question for you in that realm. And it goes in line with addiction too, pet addiction. I noticed something recently at somebody's house where, okay, and this person, okay, does a lot of research and takes very good care of their animals, knows what not to give them, what to give them. And in this instance, it's only a little bit that they give the cat, but these cats, you can tell they're addicted. It's like giving them cocaine or something. It's whipped cream. What makes cats go crazy over whipped cream? Or is it just that they liked the taste of it when they first tasted it, and now they're like, ooh.
Well, they are addicted, number one. Number two, we've been feeding domestic cats and dogs raw dairy products for forever. And because commercial pet foods are so deplete of nutrients, anything that they can sense that might be in there that they can use, they will eat inappropriately. I mean, that's why we have dogs that are eating poop, because, and a big one is that they go after the cat poop because the cat diets have got a much higher protein level, a lot more meat, if you will, for a carnivore in it. And what they're excreting is actually better than most of the pet foods that are on the market today.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is. And then, of course, like the dog foods, okay, they put food color on it. Dogs are colorblind. Why would we add a synthetic color to a food, to an animal that's colorblind?
I don't even know why you would do it to begin with, whether colorblind or not. I mean, like, that's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. Well, not the most. There's a lot of the most.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. In the food, in the additive department, all the flavor enhancers, which are addictive drugs, basically, the preservatives, the pre-processed components that all contain these same things. So you're getting a multitude of layers in any ultra processed food, whether it be for dogs, cats, people, even horses. They do the same thing with almost all livestock today. And this is what's leading to all the health problems. And then you go to your so-called physician, and they just add more poison on top of it, and you just keep adding until the layer of additives and the layer of drugs equal each other.
Oh my!
Can't make stuff up.
I'm telling you, you really can't. Is there anything else you want to add about, pain relievers, pet addictions, foods, all that before we go?
Well, the whole thing is you got to start out with the basics. What do these animals need? What's a species appropriate diet? We can't decide on that even in people, because you can go all the way from vegan to carnivore with about 27 definitions in between that. I was listening to a seminar this morning by one of the top canine cancer researcher, and it's funny because he was quoting basically what I've been saying for 20 years. And it's a new discovery. He's only been studying it for 30. But that those so-called cancer cells aren't really cancer cells, but they are regular cells that have been deformed and damaged because of chemicals in the body. But the other thing is the way even drugs and the way foods work. If you're like most people are, and most dogs today, unfortunately, running off of carbohydrates, glucose, everything will react differently than if you're running on ketones, on a ketosis diet and ketogenic diet. So even we find that the interactions in the body are totally different between those two types of energy creation. So how can you say something is working, not working, beneficial, not beneficial? It's like I said, during the pandemic, the one thing we did learn is that medicine knows nothing.
Well, thank God the pet health guru knows a lot, because you are the person that could definitely help our pets and our humans, and our humans need a lot of help too. So tell everybody how they can reach out to you, check out, My Paleo Pet, check out your show, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, on online, the show is Pet Health Cafe. It's found on YouTube and, of course, on stations here on the W4.
HC Radio, Health Cafe Live.
Yeah, all of those. And actually on the audio part, we're on hundreds of stations worldwide. So if you like looking at me, that's fine. Do the video. If you just want to, if you're driving down the highway, listen to it on your, whatever device you use.
Wherever you listen to your podcasts, tune into Pet Health Cafe, and you can catch all of the past shows.
Yeah, and of course, I'm available for consultations and that sort of thing for both people and for pets. Though you can book those right on mypaleopet.com, and we'll be glad to at least direct you in a direction where you can create your own healthy space.
Nice. Well, once again, enlightening and a pleasure to have the pet health guru here on the Positively Pipeman segment of the Adventures of Pipeman. And we'll see you again next week. Meanwhile, I talked about in the beginning of the show, people are going to have a chance to win some tickets to some festivals. So let's see one of those festivals that they can check out.
The Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival returns May 14th through 17th with My Chemical Romance, Tool, Bring Me the Horizon, and Shinedown. Plus, Pierce the Veil, Good Charlotte, The Offspring, Sublime, Godsmack, Breaking Benjamin, Marilyn Manson, and so many more. Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio, May 14th to 17th. Passes on sale now for as low as $1 down at sonictemplefestival.com.
Hey, you're listening to The Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
It's the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman, W4CY Radio, the Positively Pipeman segment with powerful business strategies from Michael Barbarita, would I call you the CEO of Next Step CFO, or should we just stick to president? I like the ring of how it says the CEO of Next Step CFO.
That is a better ring. There's no question about that. How are you, D?
I'm doing great. And, coincidentally, we are doing a live event right now. And today we're going to talk about live events and webinars. So let's get to it.
All right. So in today's global markets, connecting with people all over the world has actually become easier than ever. And, webinars and virtual events are an excellent way to connect with people without having to physically be there. It also provides small business owners with multiple ways to scale and build connections with people, not just in their local area, but anywhere in the world, actually. And then live events, on the other hand, are one of the best ways to bring people together. And it's a great way to leverage your time using what I call a one-to-many strategy. And the webinar does the same thing. It's one meeting that addresses many, hopefully, prospects. And as a business owner, you can create an amazing experience for your audience while leveraging your time by making one presentation to however many prospects that you can find with customers and clients in attendance. And we'll talk about a little later the challenge of getting people to these events. But with both live events and webinars, they provide leverage, and that's that one-to-many kind of thing. And there are some key differences, of course. A live event creates more of a personal connection that's kind of hard to replicate in a virtual setting. And I think a live event also allows the opportunity to build trust and credibility faster and on a more personal level. But on the downside, live events can be expensive. There's the travel, there's accommodations, there's venues that you have to set up and so forth, and you have to get people's fannies in the seats, which can be a challenge. And virtual events, they're a little simpler, they're less expensive to host. They don't require any travel or accommodations or even a venue other than Zoom or something similar to Zoom. And the geographical limitations are totally eliminated, but still allow an opportunity to connect with people all around the world. And, the personal interaction that comes with a live event can't be fully replicated in a virtual setting. However, I believe what's happening in the webinar world is that people are starting to make them more interactive, because if you're just getting on there and touting whatever it is that you're doing, like a seminar where you're talking all the time, it creates some boredom and on the part of the audience. And your dropout rate, which is something that you have to deal with mostly with virtual events, not as much with live events, but with virtual events, your dropout rate is accelerated because you're not making the webinar interactive.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a number of ways. One of the things that I do to make webinars interactive is I have what I call the virtual roundtable. And what a virtual executive roundtable, and what an executive virtual roundtable is I talk about the strategies in my book. I'll present strategies that I have from my book, and then I will let the audience give us their opinion on whether or not the strategy would work in their industry. And it allows for dialogue. I mean, after I present a strategy, and then all of a sudden there's dialogue among everybody, and people chime in. Even people who sometimes are more fearful of talking are participating in these. And sometimes at the end, they'll tell me that they can't believe they participated to the level that they did. But, when you ask the right questions and you present the right things, it can create questions. Even if somebody is, and it happens to me, certainly happens to me when I'll present a strategy and somebody says, gee, I don't think it'll work in my industry because of this and that. But that's valuable input, not only for me, but also for the rest of the audience.
Sure.
And so the more interaction that you can make in a webinar, the better your retention rate, the people who stay on, is a lot longer. And the boredom factor is virtually eliminated.
I'll give a perfect example of that.
Yeah, please.
The way. So I go and do these coverage for these podcasts and broadcasting events. And when there's virtual ones, they have literally like it's kind of a chat room, kind of also a meeting room, kind of also, everything combined, a networking room. They call them all these different names. But basically what it allows people to do is not be bored, because they're interacting with other people through these chat rooms, networking rooms, meeting rooms, and everybody's feeding back and forth, and then they're feeding their questions into the presenter, and the presenter can see all that stuff and interacts.
Great idea.
And even on radio, okay, I have always been a big proponent personally on my own show that if people chat during the show, whether it be commenting or we used to even on the radio network when we were just radio in the beginning, when there wasn't all this technology, we had a chat room. And basically, it's interesting because people would just come because they loved the chat room. And that got them listening to these radio shows because they loved the chat room. Okay. But also, it did create where like they were part of it. But also, when I would read the chat room, or now if I see comments, I will talk directly to those people, even though they're not talking back to me because they're not in the show. They are because they're chatting. And I've literally, with the chat room, with radio and now with commenting, you literally can have a whole conversation on the air live by doing that. And then people are engaged. And even the listeners that are not part of that are more engaged and less bored because it's not just somebody talking to them.
I love that. Yeah, no, I find that to be the same thing. And I think that's what makes a webinar special when it can be interactive, because it gets very monotone when just one person is speaking and kind of, there might be a lot of education value that person is offering. I mean, if you listen to Grant Cardone, he'll do a whole 53-minute podcast, and it just be him. And, he doesn't have a chat room or anything. So he's not there's no interaction at all. And, he's really good at it. So he probably gets very high ratings and is successful at it. But
I think it depends on the personality for sure.
Yeah, it really does. But to the common man, I think that has to be more interactive.
No doubt.
And then, making an offer at a live or virtual event significantly increases your chances of closing a sale, by the way. Every time you do a live event, there should be an offer of some sort. That's a real must.
Back in the room.
That's right. A lot of people have live events, webinars and so forth, and don't even make an offer. I think.
Well, let me give you a personal example of that. When I left the financial business and became a speaker, like being a motivational person was the way I was all my life since I'm 11. So it's kind of a strange transition to make that what I was doing for a living. So the first year, I would do all these seminars and never try to sell anything or promote anything because I was so engrossed in the message and helping people. Okay.
Yeah.
Until one of my mentors gave me one of the best advice ever, best pieces of advice ever. He asked me two questions. First one is, if you truly are giving value and truly are helping people, don't you deserve to get paid? Number one. Number two, if you're not getting paid and you're not making money and you can't pay your bills, how much can you really help people? And those really hit home because I had this blockage in my head is what it was. And that really hit home. Like, okay, like people ask me, even in this business, when do I have the right? And this goes back to, previous show you did. When do I have the right to ask for sponsors? Or the other question I've heard most of my career, when do I have the right to ask for referrals? And they always think that when you first make the sale, you don't have the right. You don't have the right yet. My viewpoint is this. My answer to those people is the minute that you wake up in the morning. Because the bottom line is you have the right away. So many people are like, well, I can't ask for sponsors because I haven't even, I don't even have any listeners yet because I only did one episode. Doesn't matter. It's all about what you present and the value you present to people. But again, that's why they're on a network like mine that already has built-in listeners. So it doesn't matter if you have listeners.
Right. So true.
You're part of something.
Right. And the other thing is, the other challenge that business owners have is getting people to a live event or a webinar. And I found a couple things. Number one, I found that email marketing is usually the best way, or one of the best ways. I shouldn't call it the best way.
It's still considered one of the best ways for sure, by statistics.
Yeah, right. And so that's a good methodology. And the other methodology is using social media. And one of the things that I learned recently, Dean, was this program that LinkedIn has called LinkedIn Events. And a LinkedIn event is a webinar or some type of live event where you can actually promote it through LinkedIn. And if you develop enough of a following, LinkedIn will promote it for you. So it's an interesting angle to getting people to a webinar. You can also collaborate with influencers, industry influencers, speakers, or other business partners to expand your reach. And you could also use SEO and pay-per-click methodologies to get people to a webinar. One of the things that I've learned about this process is you have to kind of be careful, because there's some people out there that are talking about what's called a calendar hack. I don't know if you ever heard of it, Dean, or if you encountered it. And let me explain what it is. Because I think it's not. I don't think it's legal. But I'm not a lawyer, and I can't get a lawyer to say it's legal or illegal. I can just get a lawyer to say don't do it. But what it is it's actually an email that is a calendar invite. And so it goes into your calendar, so it affects a second system. And now the calendar the invite in your calendar is grayed out a bit because you haven't accepted it yet. But what people have found is that it's been an excellent way to get, unfortunately, an excellent way to get people to a webinar. It's worked extremely well. I've never done it because I just don't like the ethics associated with it. And I feel like if, B2B email is not considered spam. Okay, as long as all of the things like opt-out opportunities and your address, your address is in there, your phone number is in there, all that stuff makes it legal B2B. But when you talk about email and a calendar invite that is impacting a second system, you have to really think about the legality of that. And there are a lot of gurus out there that are recommending the calendar hack because it works so well. But when you do it, there is a lot of blowback as well from people who are aggravated that their calendar was consumed by this, by this event.
And I have my opinion on it too.
Could I get your opinion on that?
Sure.
I would love it.
Apparently, they've been promoting that a lot lately because recently I've had it happen many times in the past month. For some reason, it's happened like multiple times, and it's usually spammers. So, that, or I call them spammers. Okay. Second of all, I've had some from way back. So let me tell you two of the issues that I have. I don't like it. Don't force things into my calendar. I already have a very busy calendar. Right. Okay. And that kind of screws up my scheduling in my calendar, number one. Okay. So it pisses me off there, being blunt. Okay. And I immediately view that this person is a spammer or a scammer because they hacked into my calendar.
Right.
Something else I've noticed that makes it really bad. I have a couple that I cannot, for any way, shape, or form, no matter how many, they set it up as a recurring thing, these spammers, and you cannot delete all events. You can only delete like the one. And so there's a couple that every single month, these things are showing up in my calendar, and there's no way for me to get rid of them at all. Like I've tried, and I'm a techie, and
Yeah.
there's no way to get rid of them at all. Even if you do something, like I had one that hadn't shown up in a couple years because I figured a way to stop it. I bought a new phone, and now they're reappearing again. And it's like, and yeah, they're just putting it in your calendar. So it's more than an invite, in my opinion, because they're putting it in your calendar. That's like, to me, it's almost like somebody putting mail in my mailbox without sending it through the U.S. Postal Service.
Yeah, right. I mean, so because I see it as an invasion of a second system, I think it's illegal, but I don't know. And of course, I don't do it.
People are already annoyed by getting too many emails. Now you're going to have this all over your calendar.
I know the calendar, it goes into the calendar. And unless you, say you don't want to go, you deny the attendance. That's the only way it comes out of your calendar. But in the meantime, an important person can't schedule time in that block.
Exactly.
And it's really annoying. I haven't heard of the ongoing, once a month. Oh my God, that's going to be really annoying.
And really, think of the possible prospects you could have that are going to do business with you, that you start doing that stuff. Like if you start doing that, I'm never doing business with you, no matter what your product is.
Right.
That's me. Some people would. Now you take the other side of it. It's like people get scammed on the tax phone call and people get scammed on the dating sites. Yes, it will be effective because people are going to think because what happens is when you first see it in your calendar, you think it's an actual thing that you schedule.
I know. That's what kills me. Right.
Yeah. So I'll be like Simon from, America's Most Talent. I'm voting no, not going on to the next round.
So am I. But anyway, Dean, I'd like to offer your audience an opportunity to get a free workbook called. This is a free implementation workbook too. This isn't just education. I mean, you could go to AI if you want. If you want to learn about live events and webinars, you can go to AI or you can go to Google. This is actually a step-by-step roadmap on how to implement live events and webinars. And so to get that, you just go to nextstepcfo.net, hit the contact button at the top of the website, and then fill out the contact form. And in the message box, put live events and webinars workbook. I'll send it to you free of charge.
Nice. I love it. I love you always give the listeners something free because they need all the help they can get, in my opinion. And that's not in a bad way. It just means we have so much getting thrown at us right now. That you need the assistance of somebody like you, Michael Barbarita. And so that's why I'm thankful you're on the Positively Pipeman segment here on the Adventures of Pipeman. And thanks for being here.
Thank you, Dean. See you next week.
You got it.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.